Hey, hello everybody. Well, I wanted to jump on here before the show was even complete. This is June 24th, 1995, and the first set. Sometimes I get through the whole show and I sort of lose a little momentum for how great the first set was, and I did not want to do that with this one. And it started out with Yamar, AC/DC Bag, Taste, theme from the bottom, with the Yamar being really good. I mean, just an excellent first set song, almost always. This being 1995, though, there's actually a soundboard mix of this on Phish.in. Not an official release, but a nice, crunchy soundboard, a great mix. Always such a great mix back in those days, and it certainly did add to the songs, I believe. And then, so after a good Yamar, we get an outstanding AC/DC Bag. Now, these are all pretty much by the books. The Taste was maybe the weak of the foursome there. Theme from the bottom. The AC/DC Bag may have been the strongest one of the four. Theme from the bottom, it just had this zest that I still think it's one of their better songs that they play live. All four of these just had a little something extra that maybe, and I don't know if it was just the mix or if it was just, the ability of the four guys to do extra things all within the songs. But Yamar and AC/DC Bag for sure just seemed like, okay, this is the same song, but it's like, there's just a little something extra here there. This is AC/DC Bag on steroids. And then we finally have to calm down for a moment for If I Could, but not really a moment for Trey to calm down. I mean, he is still going to go to town with his guitar in that one, and he certainly did. Then we get Sparkle and Divided Sky, two songs just, pretty much the same thing. You'd be like, oh, obviously the same band wrote Sparkle and Divided Sky, no? So we don't get a lot of Sparkle anymore. So I'm more accepting of Sparkle when I hear it rarely. The Divided Sky was a pretty rowdy crowd. Not really a moment of silence at all. And then I didn't know. Taking a little bath in what seems like it would be the Fishman pool, but no, this is an a cappella one, before going back into a Split Open and Melt to show that, look, the set's not over, it would seem like with, although Divided Sky in there too, but, Sparkle and I Didn't Know being 2 out of 3 songs, you would kind of think that the playing was over, that the serious part of the set had concluded. But no, this Split Open and Melt, one that is just kind of just going in on itself, just any great melt does. And Fishman specifically on that one, really. And I mean, obviously everybody. I don't even know how they play that song sometimes. When they get it right, though, man, it is something amazing. So I'm really excited for the second set, opening up with Maze, Sample in a Jar, Mule, a big Mike's Groove with some fun stuff in the middle. And then they end it with an Amazing Grace in Cavern. Oh, and then bouncing around the room, Slave to the Traffic Light. I'm going to predict now that Slave to the Traffic Light is a melter. Kind of like they did to us in the first set. Like, Cavern, bouncing around the room, Amazing Grace. It's not over. It's not over until you see the city and you see the zoo. All right, so we got one more set to go. I'm assuming this one's going to be a heater. They've teased something in Maze that I see here on Phish.in. You guys ever noticed when they tease a song that I'm not familiar with, I just pretend it doesn't exist? That's my move. Oh, and really what I wanted to say was, that first set gets my vote. Nod to Norm Macdonald. Okay, so the Maze did not disappoint at all. The first 5 minutes or so, too, with Page, we got into flamethrower mode for sure, but Mike and Fishman and Page had like a nice section there. It was like a little bouncy, a little slappy. It wasn't so aggressive and just right out of the gates like Maze tends to be sometimes. And then we got to that where Page was just going off. Complete flamethrower mode. Trey jumps in as well. They follow that with Sample in a Jar and Sin of a Mule, both pretty normal versions. The Sin of a Mule, always a present. And Trey doing his thing on Sample in a Jar. It was quick, short and sweet Sample. And then the Sin of a Mule, as we got to the middle quiet section of Sin of a Mule, it quieted all the way down, a complete stop for several moments there. And unlike Divided Sky, the crowd went with them on this mule. So now we get into the heavy lifting of the second set. The Mike's Groove. The Mike's Groove heard round the world. Spud, I know it wasn't your first show. I believe this is one of your early Phish shows, though. And what a dandy it was. A doozy, even. Oh, and Mike's song did not let us down. It could have been called John Fishman's song, though, really. He was absolutely destroying this thing at point. I mean, maybe that 7, 8, 9 minute mark. I mean, maybe 7 through 9 minutes, really. Fishman, just a total machine right there. Starts out, and really, it's just relentless from the beginning to about the 12 and a half minute mark, where it backs off slightly. And then it backs off into a place where it gets a little spooky at times, kind of a little scary. I mean, they are at around 8 minutes. It's about as heavy as these guys are going to ever get. And then we get into a little, it's not the post-Halloween blues here, but it felt that way. And then by the end, it almost felt like, it reminded me a little bit of Pillow Jets. Not like note for note, sound for sound, like, oh, this is where they came, they grabbed this jam and turned it into Pillow Jets. No. Come on, it's not what I'm saying, man. It is, but it almost one of them things where they're like trying, in Pillow Jets, I believe, they're trying to create a picture with the sound. And almost like that's what they were going for here on the fly. Didn't quite hit. And then John, maybe Fishman was such on fire because he knew he had Why Don't We Do It in the Road to come up. Seemed very excited to sing that one, giving Trey a chance to jam on Hold Your Head Up, of course. And then Weekapaw Groove, while nice, Main Street teases by Bob Seger in there. And kind of stuck with it. Went around a few times, too. Not just a quick little 5-second tease that you're going to miss. Nice little theme there for about 30 seconds or so. Amazing Grace, Cavern, and we still have the encore to go. Slave to the Traffic Light. Oh, come on. Don't let me down now, Trey. Come on. We've made it this far. Come on. Don't make me impeach this show now. All right. That was a stretch. What a way to say goodbye. It felt like the never-ending crescendo. Slave got off to a little bit of a rough start. Not even a rough start, maybe a flub or two. But boy, they sure hammer it home with the grand finale. Feeling like the 4th of July, just the never-ending display of fireworks. When you think it's over, there's more. And, even at the end, you get boom, 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 boom. They hit you with a 3-piece at the end, man. They got one extra. All right, guys, we are out of here. That was an excellent show, Spud. Believe this was the final of 2 nights at the Mann in Philadelphia, the Mann Center for the Performing Arts, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, United States of America. Boom. Love you guys. Hope you're enjoying your night, and thank you for being a member, Spud, Mrs. Spud as well. Everybody else, good night, good bowling.